Good morning, seculars, or afternoon or evening, whenever you're tuning in. I am your host, Sunny Secular, and welcome to Secular Minority Podcast. On this podcast, we give a non-religious, humanist perspective on the things happening around the world. We give interviews, share happy stories, and just talk about issues going on in social media sometimes. We present a safe place for all minorities, no matter the ethnicity, orientation, label, non-label. There's no shunning here. Think of this as your home. Now, before we get into the guest today, I want to talk to you about something. A lot of people have been saying that they were thinking about doing podcasting for themselves. They want to know what I've done, what I have done actually to start my own. So I'm just going to let you know. I use Buzzsprout. Buzzsprout was something that was easy for me, helped me set up my website. So if you want to look into Buzzsprout, all you will have to do is go ahead and tap the link here in YouTube, or you can, if you're listening to the secularminority.com, there's going to be a link there that says if you want to start your own podcast, you press that link. It lets Buzzsprout know that I sent you, and it will also give everyone who does sign up for the membership plan a $20 Amazon card. And you might be saying, well, why should I use Buzzsprout? Well, because for me, there were step-by-step instructions. They have their own channel and they can help you. They can get you started with the equipment that you do have. If you need to update it, if you need tips or tricks, all you will have to do is go to their step-by-step guide. And all you need for yourself is the equipment, a quiet place, and you can get started. So don't forget to check that link out. I will leave it down below. Now, getting to our guest today is a someone that I met actually on TikTok, and her name, well, actually, she's changed her screen name, but I know her as Deanna, and she's going to talk about um, she had to choose between equality and Pentecostal, and she chose equality. So let me get her in. Deanna, are you there? Can you hear me now? You can hear me, and I cannot hear you. Oh,
Hello.
yay!
Hi.
All right, we was gonna get it. We was gonna get it.
I was like, what is going on?
I want to thank you so much for joining me for this show. And I just did a little introduction. I said that I found you on TikTok, and you did change your name. So I'll give you a chance to give them your new name, and then we'll get into the show.
So I changed my name kind of as a joke because I had a lot of Christians calling me some names like reprobate, heathen. So I decided to put the two together and do reprobate, heathen, and the number 69 just to make them angry.
I love it. I love it. Okay. So as you can see for that title, I chose that you had to choose between equality and Pentecostal, and you chose equality. So
Mhm.
just to get background on you, can you start with how it was like to grow up and onto your teenage years?
Sure. So I grew up in a Baptist household, and as I got older, I became Pentecostal. We grew up, we kind of struggled. My parents were divorced. I lived with my grandmother on and off, and that was when we really started going to church. It was a Baptist church. It was all hellfire and brimstone, and it. I had to go. I remember having a lot of questions growing up about God, about religion. And whenever I had a question, I was basically told that we can't understand God's ways, that we must have faith. Um, it was terrifying growing up
Yeah,
that way. I
right, right.
remember having nightmares, reoccurring nightmares, waking up thinking I had been left behind or I was going to burn in hell. as a child.
And I know that's something, Pentecostal is different from Jehovah's Witness, but in the same token, as a kid growing up, you were always told that it was going to be the end days. So you
Yeah,
never knew, what was going to happen from one day to the next. So I can relate to that terrifying feeling.
for sure. And if I'm being honest, up until a couple years ago, it was an ever-present fear in my mind. I believed in the rapture. I find out now that I'm an atheist, this is predominantly an American belief, that there are Christians in European countries that don't even believe in the rapture.
Right.
I guess it was popularized by the Left Behind series and was introduced in what was it, the 1800s? But that's how I was raised.
Mm. So when you were a teenager going through high school, did you have any problems with the religion? When was your aha moment? Was it during school or after you got out?
Well, what had happened was I actually got sent to a Christian behavioral modification center for almost
Oh,
2 years when I was just 14. My parents were told that these people had experience with a troubled youth, that it was going to change me and benefit me. I was also pregnant when I got sent there. So, against my will and knowledge, I was sent to this place. It was very much a cult, and I was forced to give my child up for adoption. So, when I came back from that program and was ready to start high school, I, of course, was known as the girl who had gotten pregnant. I was sent to a Christian school, and I struggled with it a lot. I mean, people were not very nice to me, but it really was up until I would say a couple years ago that I believed that way, that I was a Christian.
okay, okay. So, what was your moment that made you say, you know what, this doesn't sound right?
Well, if I'm being honest, I kind of feel like I always had questions, but what really did it for me uh, was I started researching what I was taught, because I was always very aware of the fact that there were millions of other gods and thousands of different religions.
Right,
And
right.
one day, the fear of hell, I just said, you know what? If God is real, they want me to believe in what's true. And I went on a journey. And a big reason for me doing that was because I'm also in recovery. And I was taught that in order to get and stay sober, you needed to have a solid relationship with God. That scared me a little bit because I wasn't sure, and so I go on this journey and I find out that everything I was taught was a lie, and that there is no evidence to back up the claims of the Bible, that it's full of contradictions, historical inaccuracies, things that have been disproven, and things that have never happened. And this was a big shock for me. But if I'm being honest, I kind of had a feeling that it wasn't what it was said to be.
Right. Now, I haven't, that's something that I haven't had to do with overcome any type of addictions, but I know that that could be hard. And I have
Mhm.
heard from watching on the Atheist Experience, they talked about how uh, places like the Alcoholics Anonymous, they'll use the religion, especially the Christian religion, to say that
Specifically.
if you don't, use prayer, or if you don't follow the religion, then you'll have a relapse. Did you feel that same
Absolutely.
kind of pressure?
I did. I absolutely did. They say that it's supposed to be a God-centered 12-step meeting, but it was glaringly obvious that Christianity took front and center in those meetings. Um, when I became an atheist, I stopped going as much, and I was told by multiple people, when I had addressed the fact that I was an atheist and I had been years sober, well, you can't do it. You're not going to be successful. You need to rely on something other than yourself. And you are a danger to people in the rooms because you are saying that they can recover without God. And I actually had quite a few people stop talking to me once I became an atheist in recovery.
So it seems like that they're using that for recruiting people. Because what if you
Very,
do,
yeah.
what if you do if you're Muslim or any other religion, pagan, then you're just supposed to stay an alcoholic, you won't get any help? That doesn't make any sense.
You know, they welcome people from all different walks of faith, um, but they really do put an emphasis on Christ and the higher power being Christianity. I'm sure that there are people with other belief systems that attend Alcoholics Anonymous,
Right.
um, but I
But you
didn't feel like I was comfortable there anymore.
and you're basically trading one addiction for another.
Very much, yes. You're not taught to. I prefer meetings such as Smart Recovery personally, where it's not really a higher power centered meeting. I
Right.
believe in self help and self love and self power. I don't think that I need anything outside of myself to stay sober. This is my decision, and I'm sticking to it.
Right, right. Because even in those type of programs, when you do have um, a God belief, it's
Mhm.
still other people helping each other. It's your group that comes to help you more
Yeah, very
than the
much.
religion.
For sure. I'm not going to say that there's no good that comes from it. There
Right.
is. There are a lot of people who are successful, but if I'm being honest, the success rates for places like that are something like 2 to 3%.
Oh,
And, they don't want to talk about this, but it needs to be addressed.
right,
So to say that I cannot and will not recover not being a Christian or believing in God, a God believer, is astronomically ridiculous. There are plenty of ways to recover. AA, NACA, places like that, that's one way, and they work for people. But with something like a 2 to 3% success rate, you really don't have any right to tell someone who's doing an alternative recovery that it will not work. I
right.
have lost so many people that I know who attend 12-step meetings.
I'm
What's the
sorry to hear
harm
that.
in it is what it is. I mean, my sponsor told me that when I got sober in 2016 that I would have to walk over a lot of dead bodies. And I now get that, and it's a shame.
Right. So, going to back to the religion, when you came out as atheist, did you come out to family and friends, and did you have any pushback from your family?
Yeah, at first I was kind of quiet about it. Um, I told my partner, he was very accepting. He has a belief similar to mine. Um, and then I started to tell family and friends. I was more active on social media because I was excited and I felt that other people would be excited for me and happy
Yeah.
for me and would want to know the truth. But
No.
I came to I came to realize quickly that people don't necessarily want the truth. They want comfort. They want convenience. They want what makes them feel better. And I was left behind by quite a few friends. I was called a what was the word? A disgrace by people in my family. That I had rejected my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, and I was a disgrace, amongst many other things that really hurt. But
Right.
slowly but surely, some families coming around.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's a good thing that they're coming around now.
Yeah.
Um, and now on TikTok, you are very, very vocal, and that's what I like about you. You're not only vocal about religion, but I've seen you on there talk about women's rights, and you talk about LGBTQ rights and things like that. Have you gotten any pushback about that with anyone?
Of course, sexism and homophobia, transphobia, racism, and all that is rampant in religion. So I'm getting it from the conservative, religious people, and I'm getting it from just really all around from people. It doesn't stop me. I will never stop speaking out for equality, whether it's gender, race, you know, whatever sex we are. It doesn't matter. We
Right.
all deserve equality.
Exactly. Exactly. And that, yeah, I like that. And I wanted to talk about this one video you had a couple of days ago, and I wrote it down. So it was 3 days ago, and you were answering somebody on TikTok. And let's see, you were telling them something about the way religions guarantee their members. Can you remember that one
Oh,
and
I
talk about
do.
that for everybody?
So we were talking about how it's not really right for people to scare children with hell and threaten them with being left behind and so on. And I brought up the fact that number one, the reason there were so many members in the church is because they force a breeding concept. And people may not like to hear it, but it's true. We are taught that a woman's place is, to have children,
Yeah,
breed and multiply plenty,
a lot, yes.
and they enforce this on women, and they pop out children and they bring new members. That's the best way to gain new members is by having them and indoctrinating them. And it's just really sad because, these are the same people who oppose, abortion. They oppose contraceptive, birth control, comprehensive sex education, or women choosing at their own will to be sterilized. They are adding to the problem.
Right, right, right. And I've seen a meme like that before where they have a literal human pyramid, and it's, the people of the church, and then the man and the woman, and then they make sure the woman has all the kids, and all of those kids are inside the church, and then their kids are inside the church, and the cycle goes on and on. How do you think somebody could break that cycle if they find themselves inside of that?
Question everything, because if what you believe is true, it should and would be able to withstand the questioning. You are not going to get in trouble. If God is real, they created you with the mind that you have. You have the right to question what you are taught. Religion frowns upon you asking questions. They tell you to have faith, but faith is not a reliable pathway to truth.
Right.
If I can take any position on faith, is it reliable? I think we know the answer for that.
Right, right. Yeah, that's right. Something else that I wanted to bring up too. When you are on social media and you see all the things that's going on in the world, um, there have been an increase in men on TikTok who I feel like they're grooming women, especially young
Oh,
women. Um, when you catch that, how does that make you feel personally, and how do you think that we all can combat that? Because I've been reporting them, but it seems like reporting doesn't help because they come up with another page under a different name. So how does that make you feel when you find something like that?
I think it's really disgusting and it makes me very angry. I've seen social media allowing predominantly men uh, to get these accounts and promise women money, goods. They will give them the world. And what they don't understand is this is how a trafficker works. They
Right,
are on here, they are pimps, and they are literally offering these things to young girls who are gullible and who really want to believe it,
right,
and it's a serious thing. I feel like social media needs to start listening to the reports and taking these people down. There's this huge hashtag called Save the Children right now. Let's actually save the children and not just talk about it.
right, right.
Yeah.
Now, for that hashtag Save the Children, I've heard two things about that. Like one part says that Um, there is a group called Save the Children where they're actually trying to save trafficking, but then another part says, well, that's part of the conspiracy with the Pizzagate people. So, which one is it? Because I
It's
don't know.
it's Q. It's Q. And QAnon is a cult. It is a very
Yes,
toxic group
yes, it is.
based on doomsday propaganda, far right leaning, created by a group called 4chan. Unfortunately, they have gotten to people close to me and they are destroying our country. Wake up, guys. It's a lie. QAnon is not real. You know, just look into it for yourself. I mean, anyone who falls for that, I mean, it's so sad. Like, I've had people very close to me who I'm no longer speaking to because they are such supporters of Q. And they are
Now,
so right-leaning. It's terrible.
what part did they get caught into? Your family member?
Oh, all of it. Not my whole family, but a specific family member
Oh,
um,
okay.
genuinely believes that Trump is going to save our country, save the children, that all Democrats are Satanists drinking adrenochrome and trafficking children. I mean, it's like the satanic panic all over again. It's
Oh,
ridiculous.
yeah. Oh my
Horrible.
goodness. Yeah, that
Oh, it makes
that
me so
brings back
angry.
memories, the satanic panic. Yeah, I
And
remember
you know,
that.
that hasn't gone away. We still have the satanic panic.
Right.
This this crap is pushed by these extremist religions, and it's just ridiculous. I mean, we are supposed to be the best country in the world, yet we are so uneducated, and we are so obsessed with mythology and beliefs that cannot be proven. Can we come back to reality, please? Can we
R-
start questioning things?
Right, right, right.
Horrible.
And for those who are watching who don't know, if you want a better vision or understanding of what the satanic panic was in the 80s, check out Seth Andrews' YouTube. He's the Thinking Atheist, and he did a wonderful excerpt on that whole thing. You know, when he talked about how they were, if you play the record backwards, it will say devil and things like that. And I feel like each religion had their own version of satanic panic, because in the 80s I was still in the Jehovah's Witness, and even they were like, well, uh, if you go to a garage sale and you bring something home, then you'll bring back a spirit entity. So don't go to
Oh
garage
God.
sales. And I was like,
Yeah.
what?
I mean, it's crazy. Another good one too is Lucian Greaves. He actually was one of the people who did the show Hail Satan. It's a documentary that you can watch. I
I
recommend
saw it.
everyone
I
watch
like
it.
it.
It's
Yeah, I saw
amazing.
that.
They
Yeah,
are
I
not
saw that.
what you think. They are
No,
fighting for your freedoms and choices.
they don't even
They
believe
are
in
on your
Satan.
side. No, they don't at all. It, but they won't listen to us, so
No, you're a reprobate. You don't know.
I know, I'm just a heathen. I'm taking adrenochrome and sacrificing children. I mean, come on, guys.
Okay,
Uh,
so I'm not going to hold you up too long, but I do want to touch bases on when you were younger. What is it that you would have told yourself knowing now, your own self? What would you have said? What would you say to little Deanna?
mm, so much. That your value and worth is not determined by the opinions of others, that you can be good without God. You are
Right,
not broken. You are not sinful. And you are not alone. That's what I would tell
exactly,
myself. Yeah.
exactly, and you're not alone. Every time you have a story, you have a whole bunch of people like, "Yep, that happened to me too. Yeah, that happened to me too." And it's kind of a shame, because once you get out of religion, then you can see what the connections are with all the religions. But when you're
Yeah.
in it, you can't see it. And
One
so,
thing that I think that the atheist community, and they're working on it,
mhm,
we need to build more community. We have a website called recoveringfromreligion.org. They connect people to resources and community, super important. Um, One thing that atheists commonly say, at least to me anyways, is that they miss the community. They
right,
miss, we can get that, and we're working on it.
right, yeah. And on the podcast, I have a tab at the top, and it has links, and it has the recovering from religion and all of those. So if anybody feels like they need to talk to somebody, they can just go to those links. Um, as for you, do you have anything that you working on in the future?
Yeah, my procrastination tends to get the best of me at times, but
Me too.
oh God, I am ready and willing and able to start my own YouTube channel. I really want to do it.
Oh, that would be good. I
I
would like
am
that.
into it, you know, um,
Yeah.
atheism, science, LGBT issues, politics. all sorts of stuff. Letting people know to question everything and that they're allowed and it's okay. I want to start it up. I don't quite have the equipment to do it yet, but that's one of the things. I was also thinking about writing a book, but we'll see how that goes.
Now, I don't know if you caught it, but 2 episodes back, I had a woman on here, and her name was Cedra. She published her own books, and so she had a link on there where you can go and watch her video, and she talks about how she was able to publish her own books.
That's really cool. I'll check it out. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So, do you want to let everybody know where to find you, and then we'll wrap this up right quick?
Yeah. So I have social media. I have TikTok. It's reprobate heathen 69. It's a joke, guys. Chill out. I also have an Instagram that you can find on that page. So love to hear from you guys. Thanks for the support.
All right. Okay. And everybody, we've come to the end of this episode. If you're not listening to this on the website, make sure you check out secularminority.com for the show notes, the links to the guests today, resources, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and share. And for me, I am Sunny Secular here on YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. And until next time, say it with me. I'm special, I'm smart, and I matter. Peace.
Bye.